Running never did much good. Hiding doesn't last forever. You can't run faster when it's you you're running from. So you throw your hands up like doves to the setting sun. Somewhere down the stars are falling like jewels upon a thin black veil. You'll find the mysteries enthralling. 5 seconds seems like 5 billion years. 10,000 galaxies away, yet still so near.
Welcome to Karen Holton's podcast. Karen permanently lost 178 pounds and found happiness and success by following her own advice. She has now developed that advice into the quantum health transformation. Heal, evolve, and thrive. Karen's website offers a free webinar workshop series, and you'll also find tools, methods, and practices to assist you to become the change you want to see in the world. She believes that we are all connected. Heal the planet by healing yourself. Connect with Karen at her website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, and through Facebook at Facebook.com/Quantum Health Transformation. Now for the podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Quantum Health Transformation Workshop. And I have with me my guests again today. I have Canadian Spinja, Don Rogers, and Ray, who are my students for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Lovely to see you guys again. So today we're going to get into step 6, part 1. And as I warned you before, I think the middle 3 steps, step 6, 5, and 4 are the most difficult. And because it's really hard for us to change our lifestyles. It's the last thing most people want to look at. But until we realize how toxic we are and what's causing it, it's really hard for us to hold the frequency we need for positive spiritual adventures. So I really want to thank you for being brave enough for joining me today for this lesson. And I hope you get a lot out of it. So I'll just, is there anything you want to say before we get started?
I'm excited. This is part of, like, I've been on this journey for a long time, and I was actually introduced to the idea of changing my lifestyle back in 2011 when I took the fiber arts program. Like, it was a college course, and it was a real eye opener. And the instructor that I had, like, she ended up, she's who I learned how to spin from. And she had a lot of ideas, like, just as an example, like, she talked about the chemicals in fabric softener. And at the time, Ray was like 3 years old, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to change this now because I don't want my baby to catch on fire. And so
for sure.
Like, looking for alternatives, and like, one of the things she suggested with that was wool dryer balls.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's just like little changes, but every tiny change, it all adds up.
I agree. And Don, go ahead.
I'm also really interested in this particular section as well, because, like I've mentioned before, since my spiritual awakening, my body has made some pretty blunt choices for me as far as the amount of red meat I can eat. And most recently, sugars. I used to just have at her, and I overindulged in a batch of cookies a few weeks back and paid fairly severely with some pretty sharp pancreatic pain, like basically my body saying, okay, stupid, you're not 5 anymore, enough with the sugar. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I'm going to get some real hard truths on this one, on what I need to change even more, but I'm looking forward to this part.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Now, another thing I want to say is a lot of people are having symptoms of toxicity and they don't realize that it's physical. And because the physical does affect the mental and the emotional as well as the spiritual. But a lot of people, sometimes they're looking for a spiritual cure, like they think they might be having problems with demons or evil spirits or, intrusions. And it might actually be the toxic things they're coming in contact with. And we're building them up in our body and building them up and building them up. So I'm hoping that people will be brave enough to take a look at what they're doing in their lives that might be causing a toxic load and changing it. And again, nobody just changes everything overnight. It's a slow process. We change one thing, and when we get that going, then we take on another thing, and we just do our best. So with that, I'll go into the screen share. Okay, so we're just going to start with an overview of the entire program. Those of you who are listening on audio, you will definitely want to come over and watch the physical video for this because there's so much information. Plus, some of the chemicals we're going to talk about, I have a hard time pronouncing. So you're going to want to come over and take a look at the video to get the best benefit from this lesson. So this is Quantum Health Transformation. It's a new health paradigm. It was written by myself, Karen Holton. This is version 3.0, Advanced Training for Healers and Alternative Health Practitioners. Step 6, Yellow, Total Detoxification. Part 1, External Detoxification. Welcome, everybody. This PDF primer is meant to accompany the corresponding live recorded workshop. Oops, I keep saying that. This is the live recorded workshop. Thank you for joining us. I also have the video tutorial up on my website and on this playlist on YouTube as well. Quantum Health Transformation version 3.0, Advanced Training for Healers and Alternative Health Practitioners, Step 6, Yellow, Total Detoxification, Part 1, External Detoxification. So both the video primer or the video tutorial and this live recorded workshop are both have basically the same title. And both are presented in descending number order as published. You start with step 9 and you work your way down to do step 1 last. And I'll just briefly read this over. All information presented in any quantum health transformation media was received in a download and was channeled from the living library, also known as the Akashic Records. Further, this material was downstepped and developed through the filter of my own personal life experience. I'm not an expert, a mathematician, or a scientist. I'm a seeker of knowledge and wisdom. The Quantum Health Transformation Program is ideal for those who are awakening and for those who are experiencing ascension symptoms. But the content is beneficial for everyone who wishes to experience a better quality of life. This system of quantum health transformation works well for me. However, you must synthesize this information and take only that which serves you. At the very least, it is my hope that from this material, you will be stimulated to seek your own inner wisdom. And I also want to make a note that any part of the Quantum Health Transformation Original, version 2.0 or version 3.0 series can be copied and shared for free under the Fair Use Clause as long as you give credit to myself, Karen Holton. Thank you. I also recommend that everybody listening to the audio podcast or watching this video, that you go to my website and you purchase the PDF for yourself. And you can help to support my work by asking your clients and customers, if you have them, to purchase PDF copies for themselves as well. And this is just a small amount. I'm asking $3.99 Canadian, and it helps to recover some of my costs that are incurred when I put out this information. And because we're going to be involved a little bit with health and the human body today, I have to quickly read through this disclaimer. This PDF and the information on our website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, is presented as is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or advice of a qualified licensed medical professional. The facts presented in this presentation or on the website are offered as information only, not medical advice, and in no way should anyone infer that we are practicing medicine. Seek the advice of a medical professional for proper application of this material to any specific situation. No statement here or on the website has been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the CFIA, the Department of Health Canada, or any other regulatory authority. Any product mentioned or described in this presentation or website is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We recommend that you do your own independent research before purchasing anything. And with that out of the way, we'll get on to the lesson. So step 6 has 3 parts. It has external detoxification that we're going to cover today. Part 2 is internal detoxification, and we'll take a look at that next week. And the third part is emotional detoxification that we will take a look at the week after. Each of the 3 parts are comprehensive and deserves its own primer. Review all 3 videos for step 6. Part 1, external detoxification. We must stop poisoning ourselves. 20% of our blood flows through our skin, and everything we use on our skin, in our mouths, or on our hair is absorbed into our physical bodies via the circulatory system. If you apply chemicals to your body, you may become sick and very likely become obese. Your body will develop fat tissue in order to isolate the absorbed synthetic chemicals, which are toxic to your body and your mind. So a lot of people think that excess weight is due to overconsumption of calories and not enough exercise. But there's a huge factor that's often not talked about or even well known, and that is that when we use chemicals on our body, in our body will produce fat cells in order to isolate the toxic elements. So we're going to talk a little bit about that next. Common toxic chemicals found in personal care and cleaning products are called obesogens because they cause you to become obese. Now, it may take several years for this to happen, or it may happen right away, depending on your sensitivity level. Your body recognizes them as a threat, and so must store them away in fat cells in an effort to protect your body from harm. It is time to empty your toxic storage sites. Only 100% unadulterated botanical products should be used on your body, and these should be food grade. Grass-fed beef tallow products are also a good, safe choice. We are one integrated being. We are also a part of this planet and do best with the bounty that she alone can produce. Please reconsider the personal care and household cleaning products you use. Read labels. The first step to detoxification is to stop poisoning yourself. So before I get into some of these chemicals, I also want to say, there's a lot of people who do a detox every spring, and they do certain teas and, they might drink more water and they think that's good enough. But if we're toxifying ourselves all year long or throughout our lives, it's going to take more than that to detoxify. So before we get into some of these common chemicals, does anyone have anything they want to say or add or ask?
Not yet. I'm starting my list of questions.
Okay, all right, that's all good. Just if I don't stop when you need to ask something, just let me know, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So here's a partial list of toxic chemicals commonly found in personal care products, and these are taken from an article called Revive, Stop Feeling Spent and Start Living Again, It was produced back in 2009. It was previously called Spent, and it was written by Dr. Frank Lipman. So like I said, I have trouble pronouncing some of these chemicals, so please bear with me. There is DEA, MEA, and TEA, pronounced dithanylamine, monothanamine. Oh my goodness. Let me try this again. Triethyl. Okay, forget it. I'm not going to say them. But here they are on the screen. Please do tune in to the video if you're listening on audio. So basically, the abbreviation for these names is DEA, MEA, and TEA. These three chemicals are hormone-disrupting chemicals that can form cancer-causing agents. Research indicates a strong link to liver and kidney cancer. They are commonly found in shampoos, soaps, bubble baths, and facial cleansers. Next, we have phthalates and parabens. They were banned by the European Union in 2003. Phthalates and parabens are a group of chemicals commonly used as preservatives in cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. They keep hairspray sticky and bacteria and fungus out of things like nail polish and perfume. Both have demonstrated themselves to be carcinogenic and particularly linked to breast cancer. So depending on where you live, like in Canada or the United States, there's a good chance these chemicals are found in your nail polish and your pharmaceuticals, in your cosmetics. The other thing too is a lot of cosmetics come over from China, and they don't have the same regulations there that they even have here. So it's just really, people should check their cosmetics if they wear them. F, D, and C color pigments. Most F, D, and C color pigments are made from coal tar, and studies show that almost all of them are carcinogenic. Many of these pigments cause skin sensitivity and irritation, or even oxygen depletion in the blood. F, D, and C, red number 3, causes cancer in animals, and there's evidence that several other dyes also are carcinogenic. 3 dyes, red number 40, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6, have been found to be contaminated with benzidine and other carcinogens. At least 4 dyes, blue number 1, red number 40, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6, cause hypersensitivity reactions. Fragrance. Fragrance is a euphemism for nearly 4,000 different ingredients. Most fragrances are synthetic and are either cancer-causing or otherwise toxic. Exposure to fragrances has been shown to affect the central nervous system. Fragrances are found in most shampoos, deodorants, sunscreens, skincare, and body care products. Excuse me. So that's over. So when you read fragrance on the label, just translate it into 4,000 different synthetic chemical ingredients. Okay, here's another doozy. Imidazolidinyl urea and DMDM hydantoin. I'm so bad at pronouncing these. I'm going to try that again. Imidazolidinyl urea and DMDM hydantoin. These are formaldehyde donors, derivatives of formaldehyde. This is what scientists and morticians use to preserve corpses and body parts. These chemicals are linked to allergies, chest pain, chronic fatigue, depression, dizziness, ear infections, headaches, joint pain, loss of sleep, and can trigger asthma. They can weaken the immune system and cause cancer. Imidazolidinyl urea and DMDM hydantoin are used in skin, body and hair products, antiperspirants, and nail polish. I think the lesson here is that if you're reading the label and you can't pronounce the ingredients, don't use them, because they're synthetic chemicals. Then there's quaternium-15. Quaternium-15 commonly causes allergic reactions and dermatitis and breaks down into formaldehyde. Quaternium-15 is used as a preservative in many skin and hair care products. So a lot of people are having problems, allergies, chronic fatigue, depression, ear infections, headaches, joint pain, loss of sleep. And they're going to the doctor looking for a pill to fix it. Meanwhile, it might be the personal care products that they're using. This one's really common, isopropyl alcohol. So during the last 3 years of the sickness that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, people were using hand sanitizers, pumping it out and slathering it all over their children's hands, their hands. Isopropyl alcohol is used in hand sanitizer, hair color rinses, body rubs, hand lotion, and aftershave lotions. Scientists believe it has the ability to destroy intestinal flora, leaving the body's major organs open to parasites and thus to cancers. Beyond attacking the intestinal flora, isopropyl alcohol can cause liver problems, headaches, dizziness, mental depression, nausea, vomiting, and even coma. And then another really common product is mineral oil. Excuse me. Mineral oil is a petroleum derivative that coats the skin like saran wrap, which prevents the skin from breathing, absorbing, and excreting. It also slows down the skin's natural cell development, causing premature aging. Note that baby oil is 100% mineral oil and 100% bad for your baby's sensitive skin. So a lot of people don't realize that our skin is the largest organ in our body, and it's absolutely essential for excreting toxins. And if we can't excrete toxins, they're just building up and building up and building up in the system. Next, we have PEG, polyethylene glycol. PEGs are most commonly used in spray-on oven cleaners and in many hair and skin products. PEG's main functions are to dissolve oil and grease. Thus, on the body, they take the protective oils off the skin and hair, making them more vulnerable to other toxins. Propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is the active ingredient in antifreeze. It is also used in makeup, toothpaste, and deodorant. Stick deodorants have a higher concentration of PG than is allowed for most industrial use. Direct contact can cause brain, liver, and kidney abnormalities. The EPA requires workers to wear protective gloves, clothing, and goggles when working with it. And yet the FDA says we can put it in our mouths. And then this one here is huge. Sodium lauryl sulfate and it's also known as sodium lauryl sulfate, sometimes labeled as SLS. Sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium lauryl sulfate are the most toxic ingredients on this list. When used in combination with other chemicals, they can form nitrosamines, a deadly class of carcinogen. They are used to clean engines, garage floors, and at car washes. And still the most popular ingredient for makeup, shampoo, conditioner, and toothpaste. Exposure causes eye damage, depression, diarrhea, and many other illnesses. So I want to talk about what happened with me before I found out about SLS. I'll just read my quote here first. SLS caused me to suffer severe prolonged migraine headaches. It was in my shampoo, my body wash, and my toothpaste. I changed products and no longer needed the pain pills. So I suffered so badly from migraine headaches, and the doctors were prescribing narcotics. And pretty soon one pill didn't work anymore, and then I needed 2 pills. And pretty soon 2 pills didn't work anymore. I needed 3 pills. And I actually had addiction issues to my pain medication. But if I didn't take it, I couldn't function. I couldn't even get out of bed because my migraines were so deadly and so terrible. And one day I was in the drugstore looking at shampoos, and I heard 2 women talking, and they were talking about SLS, and they were trying to find a shampoo that didn't have it in it. And I asked them, I said, can you tell me more about this? And they said, oh yeah, it's deadly poisonous, causes all kinds of health issues, including migraines. And I thought, wow, maybe that's my problem. So I bought a shampoo that didn't have any SLS in it or other chemicals, and I tried it, and within a week, I stopped having migraine headaches. And pretty soon I didn't need the pills anymore. And it completely changed my life. Later on, after I started to detoxify, I can't even stand the smell of being around anything with SLS. And you know those soft soaps that are in the pump dispensers? And even what the dentist uses to clean your teeth? That's SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium lauryl sulfate. They now have derivatives of this chemical, which are just as toxic. So you may not see that on the label. You may have to hunt and do some research. But the point is, if it's got a chemical sounding name, don't use it. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. It's very difficult to detoxify from it. And if we're using it regularly, we're just becoming toxic. And this is why I tell people there's a war on humanity. It isn't just our food supply and our water and our air. It's in so many things. And I think that it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts, so that there's no accountability. So there's what they call plausible deniability, where the different manufacturers can say, well, it's not our product, but in combination, it's absolutely destroying the health of humanity. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Don?
It just kind of resonated with me because I was sitting there thinking about the 1980s Batman movie where Joker basically says, I've mixed chemicals in with your pharmaceuticals, and in combination, this one will kill you. It's like, wow, they told us they were going to do this.
Yep, predictive programming. Absolutely. Very good illustration. Thank you for bringing that up. So I've just got a couple more I want to mention. Triclosan, a synthetic antibacterial ingredient that's been compared to Agent Orange. The Environmental Protection Agency registers it as a pesticide. It's highly toxic to any living organism. It is also classified as a chlorophenol, a class of cancer-causing chemicals. Triclosan disrupts hormones, can affect sexual function and fertility, and may foster birth defects. Triclosan has been linked to paralysis, suppression of the immune system, brain hemorrhages, and heart problems. It is widely used in antibacterial cleansers, toothpaste, and household products. So going back to step 7, where we talked about what causes babies to be born, where their genitalia are a mismatch to their genetic code, this is one of the chemicals that causes that, and people don't even know about it. Then there's talc. Talc has been linked to ovarian and testicular cancer. It can be found in makeup, baby and adult powders, and also in foundation. And petrolatum. Petrolatum is a petrochemical that contains 2 well-known carcinogens, benzoapyrene and fluoroanthene. Sorry, again, if you can't pronounce it, don't use it. As you might imagine, from a petroleum derivative, petrolatum prevents the skin from breathing and excreting. There are many other toxic ingredients found in skincare, deodorant, grooming, and cleaning products. Only a partial list was given as an example. And don't believe the labeling that says all natural or pure. This is a marketing ploy. Do your own research. Become responsible for protecting yourself and your family. So this is really important because a lot of these chemicals, they say, oh, they're from natural source. They don't tell you they're from gasoline and oil. Oh, those are natural. They're found in the earth. Or they were natural at one point, but then they've been derived and isolated into these chemical elements that are super toxic. So I recommend that people consider some alternatives. Read every label. Save your health and your money by switching to healthy alternative products, including ones you can make at home with minimal effort or cost. Instructions on how to do this will be included in this lesson. I use Dr. Bronner's magic soap to clean my hair and my body. It's a safe and healthy soap to use, and Emmanuel Bronner's urgent message, written on every label, encourages us to realize our transcendent unity across religious and ethnic divides. So you'll notice when you look at a bottle of Dr. Bronner's magic soap, it's got a very complex label. And you can sit there and read the label and be astounded at the ancient wisdoms and the different teachings that urge us to put apart our differences and realize what's important in this world is love and compassion and things like that. And I started using Dr. Bronner's soap back when I found out about SLS, and it's just so mild and so lovely. Now, I just want to mention, I'll mention it again later on, but I'm not paid to advertise any of these products. I'm just giving them as recommendations so that you know where you can find them. And again, another reason to download the PDF is so that you've got the links and you can link right to these different sites and order online if you can't find them locally. And there might be other products that are just as good. It's just that I don't know about them and things are different depending on where you live. I also use soaps from Neza Naturals. They're shipped everywhere from Victoria, BC. Both brands of soap are concentrated, and once diluted, they last a very long time. So both brands are very economical to use. So when you look at one of the bottles of Dr. Bronner's, it may say $17.50, and you go, holy smokes, I'm not paying that. I can get it for $1.50 at the dollar store. Well, not the same brand. You're getting from the dollar store something imported from China that is full of chemicals. So if you want the real thing, yeah, it's going to cost more. But once you have that bottle, you're only going to use a quarter of it. So what I do is I squirt a quarter of another bottle with it. I'll get into that a little bit later. Fill a bottle, a fresh bottle that's empty with a quarter of the Dr. Bronner's and 3/4 water. So when you're looking at the cost of the soaps from Neza Naturals or Dr. Bronner's, imagine you're getting at least 4 times as much volume for your money. And when you look at it that way, it's not that much more expensive than the dollar store, and it's so much better for your body. Here's a picture of a bottle of Dr. Bronner's peppermint. I like the peppermint soap, makes me feel all tingly. You can see all the messages written all over it. I used to sit on the toilet and read it for hours. Well, not hours, and besides, that was sort of before I had a cell phone, but you know what I mean. You can look it up online if you don't want to read the bottle. In addition to being a pretty good product, the messages found on every Dr. Bronner's magic soap bottle add something very beneficial to the quality of the soap itself, much the way messages and music have been proven to affect the structure of water as discovered by Dr. Masaru Emoto. So if you haven't looked at the information from Dr. Emoto, please do take a look on the search engine. He found that words absolutely affect the quality of the water. And since the soaps are water-based, them being contained inside a container with so many positive words, it's having an energetic effect on the soap as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'm including a picture of my hair. Thank you, Dr. Bronner and Neza Naturals, for your pure, clean products that work so well. Please note that I am not paid in any way for recommending the products that I present in this primer. I simply wish to provide you with sources. So you may have local sources that are just as good. I don't know. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams that are often presented by multi-level marketing schemes, because you're going to be paying much more than what you need to pay because you're supporting the income of all the distributors. So it's just another thing to keep in mind. Further along in this primer, I will include some simple recipes for homemade healthy shampoo and body wash, detoxifying bath soak, antibacterial soap with essential oils, natural hand sanitizer, face and body oil, and toothpaste whitener that I personally make myself and use. But first, I'd like to introduce you to two other products that work wonders. Now, before we get into essential oils, does anyone have any questions or things they want to add?
I'm good.
Okay, we're going to get into thieves oil and essential oils. A lot of people do not realize the powerful effect of thieves oil and essential oils. They are amazing. They not only smell great, but they also affect mood and your health, and they have very strong antibacterial properties. Now, before I get into this, there is one thing I really want to stress, and that is what's good for us may not be good for our pets. So before you use an essential oil, please do some research online to find out if they're toxic to your cats and your dogs. Like, for instance, lavender is toxic. A lot of the citrus fruit essential oils like orange and lemon are also very offensive to our pets. And we don't want to be making them sick because they're parts of our family. So I'm going to talk about a thieves oil that I use from Salt Spring Elementals. It's called Marseille's Remedy. Now, there are other thieves oil. It's just this is the one I use and I trust. And you can use, as long as it's pure and organic, you can use other brands as well, and they all have the same effect. I've been using Marseille's Remedy Thieves Oil with great success for many years. Marseille's Remedy is my favorite. It's 100% organic, and it's easy to find locally at the health food store, or you can simply order it online. For an excellent insect repellent or bug bite soother, mix several drops of Marseille's Remedy Thieves Oil. And then I've mentioned here, you mix it with 100% Rescue Salve by Healing Bliss Botanicals and apply. Now, you don't have to use Healing Bliss Botanicals. It's just another source for really pure Rescue Salve that's super good for your skin. I myself make my own salve out of beef tallow, grass-fed beef tallow, because I find it's very absorbable into my skin, and it works just as well, and it's super cheap to make. And but you just put a few drops of the Marseille's thieves oil into any kind of a salve, and then rub a little bit on your body. And it's fantastic for keeping away bugs, which is important here in Alberta in the summertime. And it's also, if you do get bitten by a bug, it just soothes it right away. I want to tell you the history of Marseille's Remedy. Now, this has a lesson within a lesson. Let's put it that way. First, I'll read the basic what happened with it, and then I will talk about its uses. Go ahead, Spinja.
Oh, no, I'm just, I have questions in regards to beef tallow, but I don't know if this is
Yeah,
the right.
sure. Ask now.
Well, no, I just you've mentioned it, and the sample that you sent me, it's absolutely wonderful. How, where do you find it? Like, is it something that you make? Is it at the butcher shop? Like, how do you?
It's super cheap, super cheap. So what you do is you go to the butcher and you ask the butcher for the fat that was wrapped around the internal organs of the cow. It's got to be beef. You can't use pork, it's too soft. You could use lamb, but I really recommend beef. It's cheap. So you want the fat that's wrapped around the organs. And all you do is take it home, And you can either look online on how to make your own beef tallow. There's tons of instructional videos. It's very easy to make. Or you can simply melt it down in a crock pot, a slow heat process until it's completely rendered or melted down. And then you strain it and you just put it into mason jars. It's that simple.
Cool.
Now, in order to make a salve, it's very firm, so it's kind of too hard to rub on your body. So then you want to melt it once it's been clarified and strained. And I can send you, Spinja, the link to the person whose videos I watched that taught me how to make it. Super, super easy. Like,
That'd be great. Thank you.
Unbelievably easy. You don't even have to worry about it. Just put it in the slow cooker and, check it, a couple hours later. I use the water method where I add water to it and salt to help extract the beefy bits. So I can do that. But anybody who's listening to this, just go online, how to make your own beef tallow. There's tons and tons and tons of instructions, super easy to find, super easy to do. And then when you want to make your own salve, what you do is you melt the beef tallow and you mix it about 2 cups of beef tallow to, I think it's a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. And what that does is it makes it softer. So it's easier to spread. And then if you want to make a cream, once that's cooled, once you've mixed it with the olive oil and, combined it well, and you can throw in some essential oils, then you let it cool. And then you just take your hand mixer and beat the hell out of it, and it whips up and becomes a beautiful soft cream. So that's basically how to do it. I know I should have saved this for the do-it-yourself section, but I just thought I would answer it so I don't forget later on.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So Marseille's Remedy is a traditional thieves oil blend that's been used around the world for hundreds of years. Legend has it that in 1413, as the bubonic plague decimated France, 4 thieves were arrested for robbing dead and dying plague victims, a crime punishable by burning alive. The judge offered them leniency for their terrible crimes if they would share the secret, which enabled them to expose themselves to the plague without contracting it. And this is the lesson within the lesson here. Those who have ears, listen. The thieves explained that they were perfume makers and spice merchants who were unemployed due to the closure of France's seaports. They had prepared a special mixture of essential oils which they applied to their hands, ears, feet, masks, and temples, and this protected them from infection. As promised, the judge did not burn the men alive. Instead, he hung them. History shows that soon after, plague doctors began to wear beak-like masks stuffed with absorbent materials soaked in thieves' oil to protect them from disease. So it was shortly after that the medical industry started to be born. And you notice on the bottle of the thieves' oil label, there's a picture of this creepy-looking guy with a hat and a big beak-like mask. That was because they stuffed the beak with rags which were soaked in thieves' oil. And thieves' oil is a combination of lemon, rosemary, cinnamon. What's the 4th one? Lemon, rosemary, cinnamon. I can't remember, but if I think of it, I'll tell you. You could probably do some research online and find out. And so anyway, that's what happened. So even though these poor guys got killed, the reason they were robbing the bodies in the first place was because they were out of work and they had to eat and feed their families. But they never got sick. And I just want to also mention that I use thieves' oil, and the last time I had any kind of a respiratory illness whatsoever was in January of 2019, which was before the big scary sickness came out, and I didn't get anything, not even a sniffle, haven't since. So I just, again, I can't give medical advice, which is why I read out the disclaimer in the beginning, but I'm just saying from my own personal experience. And for those who have ears, listen, because I have a feeling that sickness is something that may become common in the near future, or at least has been predicted. Hi guys, break time for a short message. YouTube will not monetize me, so if you enjoy my content and want to support my efforts, help me to cover my expenses by visiting my shop to buy yourself a beautiful orgone generator. Zendome's Orgonite are my unique brand, and they are ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. They are only available through my website, www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com. Many people are finding comfort with Zendome's orgone generators, commonly called Orgonite. They are a simple compound which balance ambient energy by converting negative energy and EMF into positive healing energy with many easily confirmed health benefits. They are a simple compound with alchemic and energetic properties. These devices function as self-driven, continuously operating, highly efficient, negative to positive energy transmutation factories. They help diminish the harmful effects of electromagnetic frequency radiation by attracting and converting negative energies, retuning them into new and more healthful sound and light wave patterns. And they help to purify the atmosphere and accelerate plant growth. They also help stimulate positive mood and are a natural remedy for poor sleep patterns. When Orgonite is within range of any corded or wireless electronic device, it will efficiently and continuously transform that energy into orgone as it is being transmitted. This essentially creates orgone energy transmitters out of any and all emitters of harmful negative energy. You can use these devices for focusing the mind, healing, meditation, and for spiritual growth. Zendome's Orgonite are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are only available through my website. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out my website to see my latest selection at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com. That's KarenHolton healthcoach.com. Check them out today. Now, let's get back to the show. So today there are literally hundreds of uses for a traditional thieves oil, and there's a wealth of information stating its effectiveness in a wide range of applications. I use it all the time as a safe alternative to chemical and antifungal disinfectants. Marseille's remedy can be used in the same manner as oregano and tea tree oil as a preventative aid and immune system booster. It even kills mold. So I think that's the fourth ingredient was oregano. I'm pretty sure, but you can research it to find out.
Ray has something to say about oregano oil.
Every time I got sick, Spin would give me the option to either put some on my feet and wear socks when I go to sleep, or put it under my tongue, and it tasted terrible.
Yeah.
Not a fan. It works.
It works.
It tastes
us. And again, you know, the disclaimer. But our experience with oregano oil, we basically just have to mention it, and whatever is making us feel bad just runs away.
Yeah, it tastes disgusting. Medicine, I think, is supposed to taste disgusting, you know? So we don't overdo it. I think maybe that's why.
Yeah.
It is the Buckleys of the plant world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if it tastes disgusting to us, it's going to taste disgusting even worse to the disease. So.
Well, that's the thing, is it's systemic. It gets into the body, it spreads into every cell of our body and just knocks the crap out of whatever our problem might be. So Marseille's remedy can be used in the same manner as oregano and tea tree oil as a preventative aid and immune system booster. It even kills mold. You can use it as a hand sanitizer. It clears phlegm and congested airways, increases immunity, relieves inflammation due to topical infections, eliminates airborne pathogens and foul odors. It's an effective fungicide for feet, hands, head, and airborne. aids in the prevention and elimination of oral fungal infections and candida yeast. It deters mice, lice, worms, and fleas. I like to add about 9 drops of Marseille Remedy Thieves Oil into an all-purpose natural ointment base, like 100% Rescue Salve by Healing Bliss Botanicals. Well, actually, lately, I've been more putting it into my beef tallow salve. And it just gets rid of everything that could be a problem. Can you imagine how much money you're going to save on over-the-counter stuff just by using this one thing? So you can also find Healing Bliss online. I add about 9 to 12 drops to a jar and then rub a little salve onto my hands, inside my ears and around my mouth and nose before going out in public. And it seems to do the trick. And here are some additional uses for thieves oil. Number 1, prevent infection, promote healing. 2, sore throat, mix with a tablespoon of water, gargle and swallow. 3, bronchitis, add some to oil and apply to the upper chest and throat. 4, for headache, put a drop on your thumb and apply it to the roof of your mouth. 5, protection from colds and flu, put a couple drops directly on the soles of your feet, much like what you were doing with oregano oil. 6, germs, diffuse Marseille Remedy Thieves Oil into your home. 7, lung congestion, breathe in the vapors. 8, cleaner for dishes, clothes, and floors, add several drops to the wash water. 9, repel insects on your flowers and plants. Mix 8 to 12 drops with 4 ounces of water in a spray bottle. 10, bee and wasp stings, apply directly to neutralize the toxin and relieve the pain. 11, treat gum disease and toothaches, apply to gums and teeth. 12, maintain healthy teeth and reduce cavities, apply orally. 13, solve mold problems, diffuse an affected room for 15 to 30 minutes daily. 14, reduce phlegm and congestion, add 1 drop to juice and drink. 15, pain relief and faster healing, add to an edible oil and apply to the ailing bones or joints. 16, help stop smoking, put a drop on the tip of your tongue. 17, cold and canker sores, dilute in edible oil and apply directly. 18, maintain health, put a drop in your cup of tea for flavor. So, I mean, isn't that amazing? And the other thing I'll mention again later on is when you use essential oils, your body does not build up the germs and your body do not build up an immunity to it, which means just like, you know, when we're using a lot of pharmaceuticals, pretty soon the germs and the bugs and things, they build up a resistance to the chemicals. Well, they don't build up a resistance to essential oils. They always work. And you can use them safely and as much as you need to. Just again, be careful of your pets. Essential oils, I would also like to recommend Divine Essence Organic Essential Oils. They are pure and very effective. I'm extremely chemical sensitive, but my body responds well to these phenomenal products, which are non-toxic and easy to find at the local health food market, or you can order them online. Again, I'm not getting paid to recommend them. I'm just wanting to give people a jumping off point in case they have trouble finding suitable products in their area. So now we're going to get into some of the recipes for natural products that I was telling you about. And the first one is the homemade healthy shampoo and body wash. You just fill a quarter to a third, I usually use a quarter of a plastic BPA-free squeezable bottle or a glass ceramic pump. Of course, once I've used a bottle of Dr. Bronner's, I don't throw the empty bottle out. I use it to dilute future amounts and make more of the soap. So you fill it to the top with filtered water, you shake it gently to combine, and you use it as you would any shampoo or body wash. This healthy shampoo body wash will not dry out your skin. It creates a lush, creamy lather that rinses away clean. Remember not to exfoliate more than once a week. people are really into using a loofah and scrubbing all their dead skin off. Well, that's great, but you don't want to do it more than once a week. And I'll tell you why, because we need those layers to protect us from sun and environmental damage. Also, if you gather your vitamin D from sunshine, remember that it takes 24 hours after exposure for your body to process and absorb the vitamin D into your skin, which is why I recommend only exfoliating once a week. Next, we have a soothing and detoxifying bath soak. So this will pull through your skin, through your sweat glands, will pull out toxins from your body and replace much needed magnesium. So I recommend you add Epsom salts, sea salt, and baking soda to your bath as much as you want and soak in it for at least a half hour. And if you have some, add some spa clay as well. So clay that you can add to the bath, you can usually get at a health food store. But you can find Epsom salt, sea salt, and baking soda just about everywhere. It's fairly cheap and pure, and it will just be amazing for helping your body to detox, relaxing your muscles, getting rid of any stiffness, a lot of joint pain, things like that. Homemade antibacterial hand soap with essential oils. Although Neza Naturals or Dr. Bronner's peppermint or tea tree soap have antibacterial properties on their own, Marseille Remedy Thieves Oil Blend contains additional antibacterial properties. Neither will interfere with the body's natural function because they do not contain synthetic chemicals of any kind. Divine Essence essential oils are also pure and organic, so they should not have any negative effect on you. Now, since some of you may be very, very sensitive, I'm going to suggest this. Do a spot check for allergic reaction first before you use any of the suggested ingredients. Some people have extreme sensitivity. Combine a drop or two of essential oil with a few drops of cold pressed oil and put a drop of this mixture on the inside of your arm. Cover with a Band-Aid and check it in 5 minutes, then 15 minutes, and then leave it for about an hour. And if you don't notice a reaction, you might want to leave it on for 24 hours, checking periodically to be sure. Reactions are rare, but you may want to make sure that it agrees with you. So I'm just throwing this in there. I recommend that you do a spot check. I haven't had any problems and I'm very sensitive, but that's not necessarily true for you. So I just want to put that in there. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
It's
Okay.
pretty fascinating, actually, but
Okay. Homemade antibacterial hand soaps with essential oils. You will need Neza Naturals or Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Magic Soap, 3 drops of Marseille Remedy Thieves Oil Blend, or 3 drops of Divine Essence Lemon, Lavender, or Peppermint Essential Oil, and a foam hand soap dispenser or a pump dispenser. Now, please, I want to make it really clear, so I'm going to just say this again. You use 3 drops of one or the other. You don't add all of them because that would be a bit much. You only need 3 drops of lemon, lavender, or peppermint, or thieves oil to the whole container. Depending on your preference, you can dispense this mixture as a foam or a liquid, depending on the kind of dispenser you use. And if you can't find a foam dispenser, you can use one from a commercial soap, but wash it out really well first to get rid of all the chemicals. Fill the soap dispenser 1/4 of the way with the recommended soap and add a few drops of Marseille Remedy Thieves Oil or Divine Essence Essential Oil. Then fill up the dispenser with filtered water, shake it up initially, and from time to time if you notice some separation. So that's what you want to use instead of those soft soaps. And it's very, very economical to use. And you may want to use other brands, but I want you to be really careful of anything you buy that's discount, Walmart, the dollar store, anything like that. I have bought some really, really toxic essential oils by accident from the dollar store. and they are not pure. You want to make sure that they're very, very pure. And it's worth it to pay extra to get pure products, but then usually you use so much less that it works out to be cost effective. Homemade natural hand sanitizer. I got to tell you how I found out about this. So I was looking at people were using hand sanitizers. I would say in the early 2000s, they became really popular. And I found that they just irritated my skin and dried them out. And I just knew there was something wrong with them. So I went to the health food store to look for a natural hand sanitizer. And I found one, which is where I got this recipe from. And I started making my own. But they wanted like $18 for this little tiny spray bottle. And I went nuts to that, read the label, went home and made my own for pennies. So I just want to let you know that. So what you would need is 5 to 10 drops of thieves oil, 30 drops of the recommended liquid soap, and a tablespoon of witch hazel in grain alcohol base, or you can use high-proof vodka. And if you use a gel dispenser, you'll need 8 ounces of 100% pure aloe vera gel. You can even get that from your own aloe vera plant if you want. Or you can use 8 ounces of filtered water for a BPA-free plastic spray dispenser bottle. Plastic is not ever ideal, but if you get it BPA-free, it helps a little to make sure you're not getting the bisphenol, whatever's the chemicals that are in the plastics. And I myself have never actually made the aloe vera gel. I just provide this in case people want to use that. But I find that just buy some mini spray bottles. I make up a batch and then I just decant it into these little spray bottles, and I have one in my backpack, one in my purse, for when you need it, especially if you're out at an event and they have outhouses or porta potties and you have no way to wash your hands. That's good to have. So add the Marseille Remedy thieves oil and soap to a glass or ceramic mug or bowl and swirl it to mix. And then you can add the witch hazel or the vodka, because the witch hazel is basically distilled in grain alcohol. It's the same thing. And swirl it again. Add this mixture to the aloe vera gel and mix well and put it into a gel dispenser and shake gently before each use. Now, if you prefer spray like I do, add filtered water to the soap essential oil mixture and pour this into a BPA-free spray bottle and shake it before you spray. So I guess you could use gin or whiskey or any kind of hard liquor, but if you don't want to smell like a brewery, you might want to just use vodka. And you only need a tablespoon for making for 8 ounces of your homemade natural hand sanitizer. You're only using a tablespoon of alcohol and 30 drops of soap and 5 to 10 drops of essential oil. So that's why it's so cheap to make, and it works really, really well. And I want to say something else about the homemade natural hand sanitizer. Note, this hand sanitizer recipe uses none of the harmful chemicals contained in commercially prepared hand sanitizers and relies on pure essential oils and grain alcohol to kill the germs. One of the unique qualities of essential oils is that they do not cause bacterial resistance like antibacterial chemicals do, and are actually effective in killing strains of bacteria that have become resistant to our man-made medicines and chemicals. Sometimes it's good to allow your bodies to encounter germs to strengthen your immune system, but sometimes it's nice to have a hand sanitizer available for emergencies. In these cases, this gentle homemade formula is one of the best alternatives to commercial hand sanitizers that I have found. And as I mentioned, this video is being made at the end of March 2024, and I have not had a cold since January 2019. And I think it has a lot to do with the products I use. Before that, I got sick very rarely because I've been using these formulas now for quite a while, for quite a number of years. Homemade face and body oil. Well, we live in Alberta, so moisturizing is kind of a big deal here. And this is for making, a plant-based oil, but you can also add essential oils like we talked earlier about the beef tallow, and you can use that on your skin. It's super good for dry weather. But here's the basic body oil and face oil recipe. Fill a glass or ceramic pump dispenser with a cold-pressed, unadulterated, unrefined oil like jojoba, sweet almond oil, avocado, apricot pit, olive, or hemp, etc. Never use cooking oil. Add several drops of divine essence essential oil for aromatic and therapeutic effect, then shake it up. That's it, and it's ready to go. Rose, lavender, or bergamot essential oils are very soothing. Lemon essential oil heals the skin, and peppermint is very antiseptic. So you can use whatever essential oil you want, and you don't need to add very much, just a few drops until it has a pleasing aroma that you enjoy. Review Quantum Health Transformation Step 8 Red, Grounding and Birth of Core Belief Systems Primer to learn more about grounding and the importance of self-massage. This is the ideal massage oil for daily grounding. And I've just given two examples here. Hemp oil and apricot kernel oil are two beautiful oils. You do not want to use, in Step 6, Part 2, we're going to talk about internal detoxification. You do not want to use any of the toxic seed oils. Oils that are labeled vegetable oil, cottonseed, canola, sunflower, safflower, soy oil, cottonseed oil. Those are all toxic. You do not want to even use them on your skin. Excuse me. Ideal facial regime. Add a small, tiny squirt of Neza Naturals or Dr. Bronner's Magic Soap to a basin of warm water. Use with a soft cotton washcloth to wash your face and neck. Then spray your face and neck with Divine Essence floral water. Don't wipe it off. Gently pat your face and neck with your hands until you feel dewy fresh, and then apply a few drops of the face and body oil described on the previous page. Massage gently until it's absorbed and you feel amazing. You'll never go back to those commercial, high-priced beauty products. All those face cleansers, creams, and moisturizers they sell as beauty products are a complete waste of money, and most are toxic. Try the real thing and see how your body responds to this simple pleasure. So the reason a lot of these companies use toxic elements is because they haven't done the research or they don't care, and it costs them so little to produce the shampoo or the body wash or the body oil or the toothpaste. Meanwhile, they're charging you an arm and a leg, especially for anything that's labeled a beauty product. And here you're paying big bucks just to become toxic, when you can just spend pennies and make this stuff for yourself. Now, homemade toothpaste tooth whitener, you may not like the taste of it, but it works very well. You can mix equal parts of salt and baking soda in a small container. You sprinkle a couple drops of thieves oil onto a damp toothbrush and you dip it into the salt baking soda mixture. And then you brush as you normally would and rinse afterwards. And it works just as well, if not better, than any commercial toothpaste. And again, salt and baking soda, what is that going to cost you? Next to nothing to brush your teeth. Other personal care products. Pay attention to everything you use on your body, including toilet paper, facial tissue, and menstruation products. Do not use anything that is scented, and try to get away from paper products completely. Recycled paper products are not better. They contain BPA and other toxic chemicals from all the fax paper and receipts that are combined with the other papers to recycle into personal care products. So I don't know if you've heard that, never let children handle receipts or fax paper. It's very toxic. It's loaded with BPA. Meanwhile, they're blending it in with all the paper to recycle and put into your toilet paper. And another thing is, ever notice that your nose always needs a tissue? This is because the chemicals in paper-based facial tissue act as an irritant to your nose. Try a cotton or a bamboo handkerchief and notice the difference. Also, look for bamboo or cotton or any other natural fabric personal care products without fragrance. Although it's not a perfect solution, consider bamboo toilet paper. It's soft and it's strong, and there are quite a few brands out now. The other thing I just want to mention here is, nobody's detoxification is perfect. I myself often use paper toilet paper, even though I prefer not to, because it's very, very expensive sometimes to buy cotton-based or bamboo-based products. And that doesn't always guarantee that they are chemical-free. So, again, it's about awareness. Just be aware and cut down on the toxic load where you can. And a word about deodorant. When we detoxify ourselves and we eat real food, as we'll discuss in step 5, we do not produce very much stink. Daily cleansing is usually good enough, and there are natural crystals to help out if necessary. Many people do not need deodorant at all, so consider improving your lifestyle and throw out your deodorant. Now, this might come as a shock and a surprise to many people, because we all know people who don't smell very good who could use a deodorant. But the reality of it is, you can dampen your armpits and use a bit of baking soda, or you can go without deodorant altogether. There's also these natural crystals you can buy that you just rub a bit under your arm, and it also takes care of it. But as your lifestyle improves and you detoxify, you produce less and less stink, because your body has to detoxify less, and we become more natural. So, it all depends on your situation, maybe where you work and the contact you have with other people. You can't quite go without a deodorant, but be mindful of what kind of deodorant you're using. Read the labels and try to find a safe alternative. And while we're on the subject, consider your clothing, especially your underwear. Wear clothing that are made from natural fabrics as often as possible. Synthetics interfere with your subtle energy systems and can degrade when they get warm and sweaty, outgassing toxic chemicals. Now, when this was originally written, it was much easier to find organic cotton and bamboo clothes and even soy clothes. Natural fibers were in abundance. Now it's becoming really difficult. And the cotton that they sell is mostly, if it's not labeled organic cotton, then it's GMO cotton. And when we're wearing GMO cotton, what is cotton GMO'd to do? It has the components of Roundup, which is a chemical herbicide, right in its genetic makeup. And so we're wearing Roundup next to our skin. So, again, we could only do what we can only do, and we can only do what we can afford. But I think it's important for people to be aware of these factors, and then they can include them more and more as they can. Now, before we move on to household cleaning products, do you folks have anything you want to add or questions you might have?
No,
Yeah,
nothing that.
nothing that can't wait till the end.
Okay. Household cleaners. Now, this is really important, people. Do not use Febreze or anything with fragrance or anything that has Febreze in it. Febreze doesn't actually get rid of the odors. It tricks your brain into thinking that the stink is gone. And it does that because it paralyzes your brain neurons to impair your sense of smell, which is definitely not good for you. If fragrance and Febreze make you feel sick, this is a good thing. Your brain and your body are trying to protect you. Listen to this message. So I myself have a natural abhorrence for anything that's had Febreze used on it. And I went and bought a lovely reclining love seat from a secondhand store. I didn't realize till I got home that they had destunk it, whatever, with Febreze. And it made me so sick, gave me headaches, made me feel dizzy, and made me feel a bit unhinged. And I had to get rid of the love seat. So, I know it seems to be wonderful, and it's in air fresheners. It's also, a lot of these air fresheners are super toxic to your pets. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But they don't get rid of the stink. The stink is there, just your brain can't pick it up anymore. That's not good. And besides, you want to know when things stink. Then you can use thieves oil and different things to help, clean them of molds and stinky bits, whatever. So don't fall for the media hype. Pretty much everything in your home can be cleaned and sanitized using salt, vinegar, baking soda, and an all-natural liquid soap. Salt is the great purifier. Salt water will sterilize, and vinegar cuts through grime. So I don't know if you've ever had dental work and you've had to swish your mouth with salt water, or you've had a cut or anything and you want to put saline solution on it. Why is that? Because salt kills all kinds of germs and bacteria. It's super powerful, and people don't realize it, and they're paying a fortune for all kinds of spray cleaners and powders and stuff. Salt is the great purifier. It kills the germs and the bacteria. Vinegar does too, and vinegar cuts through greasy stuff really well. And baking soda, you can put spray vinegar on a surface and then sprinkle baking soda on it, and it bubbles up and it produces a gas that also helps to clean it. So, I mean, these are simple, cheap products that we can be using for cleaning our home, and we can save our health. You don't need synthetic chemicals to clean anything. And you can check out products like Norwex and save tons of money. I don't know if you've heard of Norwex, but Norwex has a whole bunch of cleaning rags and window rags and things, and they've got silver threads embedded in them. And the silver will also kill bacteria. And they're also woven in a specific way that helps to the cleaning process to be much easier. You may also, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I'd like to add to the testimonial for vinegar and baking soda.
Yes, go ahead.
We have pets, like, and particularly like cat urine is a really difficult one to clean up. But we just sprinkle baking soda on and put some vinegar on it, and like let it sit, and then we soak it up, and then we we do it as many times as needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a dog trainer at PetSmart a couple of lifetimes ago, and that was one of the things that we recommended. And from what I understand, and I'm just going to encourage people, don't take my word for it, do your own research, but the vinegar and the baking soda actually breaks the enzymes down in the urine, and it's better for cleaning. Whereas if you use anything that's ammonia based, it will just add to the ammonia in the urine and draw the animal right back like a magnet.
Yep, absolutely. Another thing is cat puke. I don't know if you guys have cats that barf, but mine do from time to time. And I always use vinegar and spray the spot with vinegar, leave it for a few minutes, then go back and scrub it off. And really, well, I lift the chunky bits off first and throw them in the garbage. But I'm just saying, any staining that's there, the vinegar just seems to neutralize the stains. It does a beautiful job. So there might be a time and a place for things like ammonia and bleach, but not very often. I find bleach is really good for removing really stubborn stains, but I never use all the commercial cleaners that they have out there. And yeah. So you may wish to switch to a natural plant-based laundry detergent and dish soap, which are safe sourced and contain no fragrance. So again, I gave you the link to Neza Naturals. They sell a plant-based laundry detergent and also wonderful dish soap, which I use. It's the only dish soap I can use that doesn't make my hands crack and dry out or ache. Commercial dish soaps have a lot of that SLS in them because SLS, sodium lauryl or lauryl sulfate, is really good at breaking down grease, which is why they put it in dish soap. I'm super allergic to it. So I like to do a lot of dishes by hand, and I find that the Neza Naturals brand is also cheap, and I buy it in volume, and then I put it into all my empty containers and dilute it, and it lasts me a long time. If you're still using chemical cleansers, always use non-latex gloves when using any of them to protect your skin. Latex gloves, a lot of people have trouble with latex, even if they don't realize it. So you want to use some kind of rubber gloves that are not latex to protect your skin if you do have to use a bit of bleach or ammonia from time to time. Or you may need something stronger to help you clean your oven from time to time. Like, nobody's perfect, but I just want people to be aware of how toxic our environment is so they can detoxify by changing their lifestyle habits, as well as detoxifying in other ways, which we'll get to in part 2. Now that you know how to stop poisoning yourself and have found ways to detoxify and protect your external self, it's time to move on to Quantum Health Transformation, Step 6 Yellow, Total Detoxification, Part 2, Internal Detoxification. And then when you download the PDF, you get the link to my website to all 3 parts. This concludes the Quantum Health Transformation version 3.0 Advanced Training for Healers and Alternative Health Practitioners. Step 6 Yellow, Total Detoxification, Part 1, External Detoxification. Please feel free to contact me for more information and for assistance with your self-care program. And I'm grateful for all the forces that assist me with the production of this free 9-step online course. Now, if you haven't done so already, please go and watch the video tutorial of the same name. It's just the tutorial. It doesn't have a lot of extra comments and stuff. It's shorter, but it's really important, I think, to watch both so that you really get the information implanted in your mind. And then when you're done, you can go on to Step 6 Yellow, Total Detoxification, Part 2, Internal Detoxification. And if you would like to contact me, my name is Karen Holton. I'm a holistic wellness coach and a talk show host. And you can find me at my website, www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com. That's KarenHolton healthcoach.com. And you can find me on most social media platforms at Karen Holton TV. And again, if you download the primer, you'll get links to all my different podcasts and resources, tons of free resources available. And I hope you'll find me on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey. And that's it. And now I'm just interested in hearing if there's anything you folks want to share or any questions you might have.
Yeah, when you were listing off all of the chemicals and stuff, having that over analytical hyper brain that I do, my brain just basically did like an entire inventory of that house of all the stuff that contains all that crap, and it's like, oh my god. But that was one of the things. Like, my brain's like, oh, that's horrible, that's horrible, that's horrible, that's horrible. Like, it's all stuff that's in plain sight that you don't think about.
Yeah, in fact, I want to tell people too that when you go to the supermarket, everything that's reasonably healthy is along the outside walls. So that is where you'll find your dairy, your meats, your vegetables. They're all on the outside wall. Everything going down row after row after row is toxic. And if people start to read labels, a lot of people can't be bothered. Well, then, you're going to be a good customer for the pharmaceutical and medical industry. And, people, when we're young, we think we're going to live forever and be strong forever. But the older we get, the less we can get away with. And it's much easier to detoxify and keep yourself reasonably clean when you're younger than having to look at 50 years of detoxification or 40 years of buildup and all those aches and pains and all those things we go to the doctor for over and over and over again. And they just say, well, we didn't find anything on the tests. Meanwhile, you're suffering and you deserve to have a good life.
That's why, like, I've been trying, like, to, like, I guess ever since I took that fiber arts course back in 2011, it really opened my eyes. Like, there were little things, like, even my mom, like, she was on board. She knew something was wrong, but she, like, she was rubbing her eyes, but she never quite got there. But there were little things, like, when when Ray was on the way, she went out and got glass bottles because
Yes.
she wanted to make sure that the baby was drinking from glass bottles. So they're like tiny little things. And like, that's why I've been on my quest as well, is, like, and I know I'm not perfect, but I have to undo everything from my upbringing and then learn everything to help with Ray. So I hope he knows, like, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, like, with undoing what I was taught and then trying to learn everything on top of it, and getting him into the habit of, like, even what we were talking about, pancakes and like him, like, learning to eat, like, and cook from scratch, like, even that, like, I feel like I've kind of set a bit of a bar for him.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really important. People don't realize how toxic our environment is. The other thing too is all these, commercials, they make you afraid of germs. Oh my God, germs. You can't have any germs. But what they're doing is destroying the natural biome that's around you. We don't live in isolation. The air, the water, there's a natural biome that exists and harmony that exists. And a lot of what are called germs, or what they're making us afraid of, are actually necessary part of our environment for health. Don, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, when the whole sickness went on there for those couple of silly years, I was generally the one that went out and did the grocery shopping. And I remember watching a well-intended young mother washing her child's face with the pump hand sanitizer at a grocery store. And I'm like, are you, because you couldn't say anything and you probably still can't. But I was like, oh my God, you just, like, took away all of the stuff that was protecting your child. What are you doing? But you can't. And that was when you were onto the sanitizers. I was like, oh my God, I should tell her, because, like, it was hard to just stand by and watch this woman do this to her child.
Yeah, it was hard to see a lot of things. It was a very disturbing time. I have a pussycat up here on my desk. Come here. Oh, come here, my big fat boy. Oh, there. You want to be on the show. You just want to be on the show. Oh, dear, dear.
One thing too I want to mention before we go is I can't wait to try that tallow thing for the painkiller, because I have an artificial knee in my right side from an accident, blah, blah, blah. And I've actually taken myself off of everything pharmaceutical. I stick with the plant medicine for anything pain related, but I'm very excited to try the homemade salve as well for some relief.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You want to try as natural as possible. So you might want to try, I don't know if you have any thieves oil. But I can also see about sending you some more. Maybe when you guys come up, I can give you some more, but I have a feeling you'll be making your own before you know it. Super, super easy. So to make tallow balm, again, you just go to the butcher and ask them for the fat that's around the internal organs. It's called suet. And it's super cheap, it's super cheap. And you want about as much as what you can almost fill a crock pot full. And you just melt it down and filter it and put it in mason jars. And I put it in the fridge. I know he likes it. He's my baby boy, my sweet baby boy. He's my sweet baby boy.
Adorable.
Sorry, I can't resist him. But also there's the water method. So if I think of it, I'll put the link to somebody online who I trust where I learned to make my tallow balm from, and you guys can try it. Super, super cheap. I'm not kidding. It'll last you for a couple of years, that much. It's just amazing, amazing stuff. Yeah. Okay, you had enough? You want to go down now? Oh, you like it here. Oh, he likes it. You know where I got him? I just got him last November. He was a stray. He was this gnarly old tomcat, and he was starving, and he was in pain, and he was freezing, and he got some nerve damage in his little feet from being out, 30 below zero, and he can't retract his claws all the way. And I took him in, and I went, oh, I'm making a big mistake. And he was a pretty grumpy old guy, and I went, oh, I know I'm making a mistake, but I can't help it. I need to help him. I took him to the vet, and I got him his shots, and then I got him neutered. I felt real bad about getting him neutered, but I got him neutered. I figured it might make him so he's happier being in the house. And he just turned out to be an absolute sweetheart. And now he's put on so much weight, I can hardly pick him up. He's a big beefy boy now. But yeah, so that's the story behind him. My other cat's a rescue too. So I couldn't resist. So I guess that's it for today. I just don't want to cut you off. If you got any more questions or comments or anything you want to add, I really appreciate you being here. You guys are awesome. And I also want maybe Dawn, you could spend a minute or two and Spinja telling people what you got going on social media.
All of my content, which is the Roundtable Show and the Mad Chatter Show, can be found on my channels that are on YouTube and Rumble under March 4th Productions, and it's the number 4 with TH, not the actual word. And Canadian Spinja is actually going to be activating her YouTube, so
yeah, I'm getting there. I'm just still trying to balance a busy work life and get some new content. So I'm getting a little braver. I've turned my Instagram public now, so if anybody wants to check me out on Instagram, it's just Canadian Spinja. And yeah, I'm going to be activating my YouTube channel probably within the next week or so. So I will be adding all of the videos that I've got underneath Dawn's umbrella, and then I'll have a couple of new ones. I want to do a spinning demo soon, so I'm just trying to get things sorted out and balance things and all that. So I thank everybody for their patience. I do have big plans though. So
awesome. Really awesome. So all the links will be in the description below for the viewers and the listeners. And I hope you will check out Canadian Spinja and Dawn Rogers. They have some amazing content. The Roundtable Show, I've been a guest a couple of times. It's very interesting. And yeah, so I guess that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time for part 2 of step 6. Bye-bye, everybody.
Lion only makes you hurt. Denying only makes it worse. Love and surrender seem the fastest way to bring an end to bitter, painful days. Somewhere down the stars are falling like jewels upon a thin black veil, and you will thrill to hear your calling. 5 seconds seems like 5 billion years. 10,000 galaxies away, yet still so near.